Getting a check for thousands of dollars from the IRS is usually a good day, but this stimulus money we know is only coming once, and it's not going to be enough to drastically change our lives. So what should you do with it when it comes? Where should you put it? What should you spend it on to help you survive this crisis and get through it to the end? The good news is that there's really only 3 buckets to pick from, so I'm going to help you decide which one is best for you. Hey lovebirds, I'm Dan Hinz and welcome to Adulting with Money, where I help couples unite, not fight over their money, whether you want to crush debt faster, buy a house sooner, or you just want to get on the same page. And today we're talking about 3 buckets that are going to help you use the stimulus money the best way possible. And that's getting out of trouble, staying out of trouble, and investing in yourself. So let's talk about this first bucket, getting yourself out of trouble. I have a good friend on Facebook and she is in the mortgage industry and rental industry, and she had some very good words of wisdom, which were essentially, yes, you might be able to defer your rent. Yes, utilities might be cutting their prices. Yes, you might be able to defer your mortgage, but eventually the banks, the landlords are going to want their money. And so you don't want to get behind on rent. You don't want to be behind on your mortgage. You don't want to be behind on your utility bills. And when I say getting caught up, I don't mean completely getting out of debt, because if you have a car loan or student loans or mortgage or credit cards, they have minimum payments. If you're keeping up with those minimum payments, that's fine. Make sure that you're not too far behind and that you're caught up on at least the minimum payments when it comes to your debt. So that's the first bucket, is to use this money to get out of trouble. If you've got yourself out of trouble, the second bucket then is to try to keep yourself out of trouble. My wife busted through the door the other day and said, "Dan, I need your help." So we rushed outside and her car's running. And I said, "Okay." But then she held up her hands and the keys were in her hand. I go, "Oh, okay, I see the problem here." So I grabbed the keys, I jumped in the car, and like all technology, I thought, well, restart it. So I started the car back up. I said, and I looked at all the gauges and the temperature gauge was all the way to hot. So I turned off the car and it turns out the engine wasn't running. It was the radiator fan. It was trying to cool itself off. And so we gave the engine a little while, let it cool off, popped the hood. Sure enough, all the coolant was gone. Looked under the car, there was a puddle of coolant. Okay, something's broken. We need to take it into the shop. And I tell that story because this pandemic, this crisis, we really don't know how long it's gonna last. Today, I'm recording this on April 1st. At the very least, all of these measures that we need to stay inside and social distancing, that's gonna happen through the month of April. Chances are it's gonna happen through the month of May. I don't wanna be a fear mongerer, but it could happen. And what that means is that that's 60 days of waiting around, 60 days of things that could break. I know we're not driving a lot of places, and so maybe the car is going to be fine, but it's starting to get spring and starting to become summer. What about your air conditioning? When is the washing machine or the dryer going to go out, or the dishwasher or the refrigerator? Something in your house is probably going to break in the next 60 days. So the second bucket, after you get out of trouble, to stay out of trouble, is to have an emergency fund. If you're on a debt-free journey, it's okay to press pause. It's okay to just pay the minimums, hoard some cash, and to wait this out, because it's a storm. We got to work our way through this, and then once things start getting back to normal, if you don't need that emergency cash anymore, you can take it and pay off a whole bunch of debt at once and get back onto that journey. But the second bucket, if you don't need to get out of trouble, is to try to stay out of trouble. The third bucket is to invest in yourself. If you're out of trouble and you've already got an emergency fund and you're in a fortunate position where you already have income coming in and you have an emergency fund built up, the last thing that you should do is to invest in yourself. We all know the saying that you should buy low and sell high. Logically, that makes sense. Emotionally, it's really hard to do, because when things are going up and up and up, you're feeling great. The last thing you want to do is to get off that train as it keeps going up and up and up. And the same for the opposite, is that when things are going down and down and down, you want to jump off. You're scared. You want to sell. Although logically, you should buy low and sell high, we as humans want to buy high and sell low. And that's a problem. And so yes, the stock market has gone down a little bit. It's gonna go back up eventually. Fun fact is that if the stock market drops 30%, to get back to even, how much does it need to go back up? 42%. It takes a 42% gain to cover up a 30% loss. So if you're sitting there scared and you're waiting for the stock market to get back to normal before you start saving for retirement and investing again, you've lost out on 40%. So every dollar that you can start to put into your 401k or IRA, or you can find some things to invest, you're gonna have to wait, but as things start start to rise over time, you're gonna get some gains. So this third bucket, again, is investing in yourself. But another way that you can invest in yourself is to pay off debt. So earlier we were talking about getting out of trouble and staying out of trouble. Both of those, you just want to pay the minimums on your debts. If you're in a fortunate position where you can take this money and you're not being charged a lot of interest and you can pay off a lot of debt now, that's a great idea. A third way that you can invest in yourself is to learn a new skill. And I don't mean something like a hobby, like learning a new language or something like that. Learn a skill that's going to help you out, that can help you get a raise at work, that can help you start a new business or invest in yourself some other way. Perfect example. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you already know that I'm actually really terrible at posting anything on Instagram. It's usually just announcements of my new YouTube video or it's pictures of my dog. But I want to grow my Instagram audience. I want to be better. Turns out there's a really good person. Her name is Jenna Kutcher. She has an Instagram course, how to grow your Instagram following. Usually it's $400. Right now it's on sale for $300. So I'm hoping I can take some of our stimulus money and buy that course so I can get better at engaging with you, helping you, and growing an Instagram following, because that way it'll pay off later down the road. Now for yourself, maybe it's not Instagram. Maybe you wanted to know, well, how can I invest in individual stocks? How can I get into real estate investing? Or maybe at work, there are some leadership programs that if you can grow your leadership skills, then that will help you get up the ladder a little bit faster, help you get a raise. So when you're thinking about getting out of trouble, staying out of trouble, and trying to invest in yourself, those are the three buckets that you want to look at. And if you have time, be sure to check out this video, which is all about helping couples start to learn the budgeting app Mint. Is it great for you? How do you get started? And if you need some tips, let me know. All right, thanks for watching and take care.